Looking for a funky little crossover that you can take anywhere, but you want to spend a little bit too much for those that have four-wheel drive? Then why don't you try out one of these? Here we have the 2020 Hyundai Kona GLS. Today I'm going to show you around this car and I'm also going to give it a test drive, so stay tuned. I'd like to thank today's video sponsor, Aguila Auto Glass. Need replacement glass for your cherished car? Check out Aguila Auto Glass. With 25 convenient branches across Luzon, Aguila Auto Glass is the Philippines' leading automotive glass company. Starting out in 1952, they have over 68 years of experience in serving the automotive industry and carry the most extensive range of car windshields, bus windshields, and glass-related items. If you need glass, call 863 Glass. Starting from the front of the Hyundai Kona, it sure has a very eccentric design. It is pretty much unlike any of its peers that usually just look a little bit conservative. So up front, starting with this big grille right here. Good thing about this grille, even though it looks kind of odd, it is a real grille, but meanwhile, this thing up top, those are fake vents right there. You also get LED DRLs on this, which kind of remind me of like some Lexus models like the NX. It's a nice touch that Hyundai put on it. And you also have like big halogen headlights down here. It's pretty odd, really, the design. Now here on over to the side of the car, as you can see, the car is very compact. It's also not that tall, so maneuvering this car is definitely a breeze. You get nice matte black finishes all across the bottom part of the car. That way rock and chips won't hit your paint. Now you also get 17-inch rims on this one, wrapped in Nexen 215/55/17 tires. Not bad. The back of the Kona looks just as eccentric as the front, so it looks sporty, yes, but it reminds me somewhat of like a Hyundai Tucson or a Hyundai Santa Fe, but scaled down a little bit and then made it just a little bit sporty. What's kind of odd though, despite the sporty look, they didn't even manage to show you some sort of tailpipe back here. It is hidden way down there under the bumper. Open this tailgate up and you reveal 330 liters of cargo space. Fold the second row seats 60/40 and you get over 1,000. Open this one up down here, you get a couple of tools and a space saver tire. Under the hood of the Hyundai Kona, you have this 2.0 liter inline 4 engine producing 149 horsepower and 179 newton meters of torque. Now you might think that these power figures seem a little bit low, but just look at the size of the Kona. It's a tiny little thing. It's really not bad for a car this size. This, by the way, is also an Atkinson cycle engine, which does sacrifice a little bit of power, but in turn, it gives you a lot of efficiency. Here inside the Hyundai Kona, first to check the door thud. Sounds quite close to a Japanese car. I guess Korean cars are really upping their game. Let's start the car up. You do get push button start in this. Press right up like that. Now the interior of this car, it's not exactly great, but it is not bad. So up top you get Hard Touch Classic, here on the side as well. So it's really not hard compared to, let's say, the Subaru XV, but you have to remember that this car only costs like 69% of that. Yeah, I'm not kidding, 69% of that, even if it's in the base model trim. Your steering wheel, it's not that padded, but it is not bad. It's multi-function as well. What I like about it though is that it's quite rare in this price point, but you do get tilt and telescoping steering wheel adjustments for this one. Really nice. Your instrument cluster, it's quite basic. To the center of that, you have a small digital instrument panel, trip computer and all that. Now to the middle of everything, you have this really tiny infotainment screen. What I like about it, at least you do get Bluetooth. Down below, you get manual AC control. You also get a USB charging outlet, an aux port, and a 12-volt outlet. Now your shift knob, the shape is like a golf ball, but not. I really don't know how to describe the shape, but yeah, think of it as like a golf ball. You get your drive mode selection here, so you get Eco, Sport, and Normal. You also get hill descent control in this car. Now, the seats, they are quite comfortable. There is adequate thigh support. It's only manually adjustable though, and it's all covered in fabric, but I kind of like that if the day is quite hot. As for features, this car gets automatic headlights, and it also gets 6 airbags as standard. Here at the back of the Kona, first we check the door thud. Not bad, slightly better than the front. Now back here, your legroom is pretty decent. If you are on the shorter side, I am only 5'6" and I'm seated by my driving position. I do get around that much legroom, which is around like 6 inches or so. So if you are, let's say, 5'10" or above and you're seated behind yourself, yes, it can get quite tight. But that's fine because this is a compact car after all. You don't get your own air vents nor your charging ports, and your only toys back here is this you have a cup, you get 2 cup holders and an armrest. I guess that is enough for most people. Your seats, the thigh support is also pretty good. That is quite surprising for a car at this price point. Usually they lack a lot of thigh support for the rear seat, but for this one it's pretty good. Can you see 3 people in this car? Actually you can. The car It doesn't feel wide, nor is the car really wide, but because of how thin these door cards are, you do get a lot of space, and your headroom is also quite decent. Even if you're 5'10", I think you will kind of fit back here, but it wouldn't be the most comfortable. Driving the 2020 Hyundai Kona GLS. First thing as you set off with this car is you will be surprised on how decent it handles. Like, you do not expect a car from this price point to handle well, but honestly, like curves like these, it handles pretty well. There is still some sort of body roll because after all, the car is a little bit tall and it's still using torsion beams at the back compared to like multi-link independent rear suspension as what you get in Konas in other countries, but really it's not bad. The steering feel in this car too, it's actually strangely precise. Now, I wouldn't say that it is direct in the way that you can really tell where the front tires are pointing. It has a decent amount of heft to it. It's actually surprisingly good. It's still not as good as the Subaru XV, but close enough. I am quite impressed with this one. Next thing, the power. So I'm aware that in other countries you can get this car with like a 1.6 liter turbocharged engine, which has like 175 horsepower, but this one, which you get in the Philippines, is only a naturally aspirated 2-liter engine. Since it is a naturally aspirated engine, there is no turbo lag. However, there is some sort of throttle delay. But not to worry, because you can easily put this car into sport mode and it not bad. The automatic transmission system in this too, I did not expect it to be this responsive. Oh, wow, of course, it's not as fast as the dual clutch. Wow, this car is really quite impressive. It sure is a nippy little car. It doesn't really want to downshift that much, even if you have it in sport mode, but upshifting in this car is quite responsive. I was expecting this Hyundai car, as with most Hyundai car, to have pretty bad NVH suppression, but it's really not bad. Even if a while ago I was doing almost 100 actually, it's still serene in here. It's still not the most quiet. Again, you compare it to the likes of the Subaru XV, but it's really not bad. When it comes to like speed bumps and like these potholes, I'm running on like 33 PSI right now, and the Hyundai Kona, it's a lot more compliant than its peers, such as, let's say, again, the Subaru XV. It's definitely tailored more towards a comfort-oriented drive. You get pretty big windows all around. The window at the back, it is quite small, but the shape of it, the general shape of it, allows you to see a lot out of it. And despite this car not having a reverse camera or reverse sensors, it is small enough for you to be able to easily maneuver this car in tight parking spaces. Fuel consumption in this car is a strong point, and that's what the target market is looking for. Glad to report that this Hyundai Kona returns around 7 to 8 kilometers per liter on the city and all the way upwards of 20 to 22 on the highway. If you're looking for a small, nimble, compact crossover, then you should definitely check out the Hyundai Kona GLS. It is quite nimble and somewhat engaging to drive with decent amount of acceleration. It's still not as good as something like a Subaru XV, but you have to remember that this car costs only around 69% of the price of a base model Subaru XV. This one costs around 1.1 something million pesos, closer to 1.2 million pesos. But if you do not want to buy this car for the full price and brand new price, you can head on over to Automart.ph, because this particular Kona right here is one of their ACUVs, or Automart Certified Used Vehicle. They've already detailed the car and ran it through a 176-point inspection for you to have peace of mind, and it's as if you are buying a brand new car for a fraction of the price. To top all of that off, they even give you a 1-year or 10,000 kilometer warranty, and will even allow you to avail of their home service test drive, so you can test drive this car in the comforts of your own home. Did you have the unfortunate experience of having your windshield or any of your automotive glass cracked? Perhaps someone threw a rock at you and now you have a bad crack at it. Maybe you have a classic car with aging weather strips and you need new weather strips and wipers as well. Then just check on out Aguila Auto Glass. Today we've come to their Pasig C5 store to show you just what they have and what you need to tell them for them to be able to give you a fresh set of glass and weather strips. Now we're here with Sir Emil. And Sir Emil, so tell me, when people come here, and they need a new windshield. What do they need to provide? Like the make and model of the car, the year, what do they need?
Basically, when the customer arrives, we will check for example, the windshield, if what model and what year model for that windshield. And then we will make a quotation. The quotation includes the price for the windshield, for the other materials like sealant and adhesive, and for the labor for installation.
Okay, sir. Now, question is, do you have almost all types of windshields here? For example, I come in a Toyota Vios, a Toyota Innova, or a Fortuner.
Yes,
Will
we
you
have,
have
sir.
that in stock?
Yes, sir, we have.
What about European cars like BMWs, Mercedes-Benz? Do you also
Yes, sir, we
them?
have. We have an array of at least 5,000 models of our.
That's a lot.
Yes, sir, 5,000.
But are there any cars that will need to be ordered first? For example, if I come in a brand new 2021 all new Fortuner and you don't have the windshield yet, how long do we have to wait more or less to have the windshield come in?
First, see the car model, and we will measure the windshield. And then the process is we will order that 3 months or to 6 months.
That long?
Yeah,
3
that's
months.
long.
But once it arrives, sir, how long does it take for you to install it in the car?
Less than an hour.
Less than an
Yes.
hour. Now, do you have any idea compared to, let's say, casa prices or dealer prices, how much cheaper are you? Maybe 50%?
We're at least 50% or more cheaper.
50% at least 50% cheaper.
Or more.
But the quality, I assume, is the same.
Yes, yes.
Exactly the same.
Yes, sir.
right?
We do tint works there. It's an air-conditioned room for tint works.
So anyone can just come here, book an appointment, have their tint as well?
Yes, sir.
So it's a one-stop shop for
Yes,
all
sir.
their windshield
Yes, sir.
needs, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then thank you again, Sir Emil. So next time,
Thank you
if
very
you
much.
need windshield, weather stripping, wiper, or even tint, just come here to Aguila Autobahn.